Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Matt Black from WrestleZone, and I'm here with WWE 2K25 developer Bryan Williams. Bryan, how you doing tonight?
Matt, I'm doing fantastic. It's always a pleasure to see you. For those who don't know, me and Matt go way back to the THQ years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's good to see you, man.
You too.
But well, let's just dive right into 2K25. I got a bunch of questions to ask you,
Let's
and let's
go.
hope we can get them all in the in the allotted time. Last year when I spoke to you, I brought up the idea of an online GM mode. And you guys said not this year, but it's something we were looking to do. This year it's been announced online GM mode 2K25. How is this going to work in comparison to like other like online franchise modes and stuff? Do all the players need to be on at the same time in order to play, or can like one person do their show and then another person can come on, sign on later on, do their show, and it all saves together? Or how does the online gem mode work this year?
Oh man, starting off with a hard one for me because as someone who spend most of my time with the gameplay side of things, I unfortunately do not know the answer to that question. Uh, I do know that yes, it is online this year, which is something that fans have been requesting from the moment that my GM became a thing in our game. So I know it works. There is online there, but yeah, whether or not they both have to be present at the same time. To be honest, and I don't want to give a BS answer. Like I honestly don't know how that actually does function. And I'm sorry to start
No,
off this interview with me saying I don't know, but it's just everybody's got their disciplines, and I really don't intersect with the GM side of things a great deal outside of characters, roster. I help with the roster and like who's available, who can we use, those sorts of things. But I know that our buddy Al's on this call. He's not, he's muted right now. But I would just recommend for any of your GM stuff, like there's a developer Tyson. He's a designer on that. Maybe you can get another one of these sort of interview situations. Talk to him, and he can just fill you in on all those details.
yeah, for sure. Um, this is kind of another online question. Hopefully this one's better. um,
There are
with
no
you
bad
guys
questions there.
with you guys introducing things this year like online GM mode, the island, and things of that nature, like we all know, like WWE games in its history have had some server stability issues over the years. Does introducing big online modes like this mean that there's been a substantial server improvement for 2K25, that these modes are going to operate like a lot more smoothly than things have in the past?
I honestly, I will say in the affirmative that that will be the case. I know the team that's in charge and manages our online servers and just the online stability, functionality, and playability of that. And yeah, and to your point, we're bringing on this brand new mode, the island, which is, I mean, come on, I mean, this is on super online heavy. And so I do think that the team is well aware of what you had described about past issues that we have had with, connection issues and things, whether it's things in our control or not. But I do know the team from the very beginning of development of WWE 2K25, this was at the forefront of their minds, where it's like, if we're going to bring this brand new mode into the game that is so heavy, that is so dependent on the online stability, there everybody is well aware, and I know the team is doing everything they can to make sure that the online experience for both the island and then just regular online playability is as smooth as it can possibly be.
Awesome. Shifting from online and moving on to universe mode. For the first time since 2K20, you guys have brought back the promo system. What can we expect from that this year in comparison to how it was in the last time? Or is it basically the same thing that we had in a previous iteration of the game?
It's definitely going to be familiar to those who have played with the promos in past titles. Like you mentioned, 2K20, I guess was the last one that had the promos in there. So if you're familiar with the old promo system, I think you'll be right at home. But there are some very cool quality of life improvements that have been made to them to make getting in and out of the promos a lot smoother. I know that there's, in terms of like if a promo ends in a brawl, you know, it's kind of a seamless segue from the promo right into gameplay. So it just feels a lot more organic and natural without a lot of the hiccups in the the pauses that might have been in previous iterations. The animations all look great. I think fans can expect to see some different ways of how you can interact with the promos. And so, I think with us bringing back promos, which I know the fans have been requesting since they were removed, with the addition of, we also brought back chain wrestling this year. Um, it just kind of shows that, we as a team, we listen. We may not get to the things as far as time as the fans would expect, but that does not mean that we're not listening to what the fans are saying out there. And that if we are going to bring back an older feature, we want to make sure that when we bring that feature back, that it's not we're just taking the old system, we're bringing it back and making it better. And that is the case with promos, and it's definitely the case with the chain wrestling.
Cool. I know 2K has always been big on sports presentation, and something a lot of the fans miss from older universe modes back in the THQ days were like the show intros for like Raw and SmackDown and NXT and stuff like that. Is that something that is going to make a comeback in 2K25, or maybe something further down the line?
Potentially something further down the line. We've all heard the talk about, and there are pros and cons of having those show openings, with the pyro and all that. It's one of those things where, from a playability standpoint, you think, okay, it's great presentation, but I think a lot of players, after you've seen it once, twice, you're just like, okay, let's get to my week. Let's get to the start of what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something that the team is always considering. So we'll see, what we do with that part of the universe moving forward.
Cool. As far as the creation mode and the create and for your creator wrestlers, any chance you guys have expanded the overall slots this year from above 100? And has the logo creation still at 1,000, or has that been up or maybe even removed?
Yeah. So again, it's for me in my day to day, I don't really do a whole lot with the create modes now, but to the best of my knowledge, I believe that the cap of characters remains the same, as does the logos. I could be wrong about that, so I'd have to maybe double check. Uh, but I do think that they are the same as what they were in 2K24.
Is that something that comes down to the game still being on this gen, but previous gen as well? Is that something that's holding the current generation of PS5 and Xbox S and X back by still having development on PS4 and Xbox One and PC?
To be honest with you, Matt, I don't know that answer. That's something that an engineer or somebody way smarter than my my dumb ass would know. Uh,
All right.
but at the same time, I will say, I know look, whether it's this game, any game, or just things in life, like everybody wants more. More is always better than what we've gotten. But a
Yeah.
hundred is still nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? It's like
Yep. For sure.
a hundred characters on top of the characters that are already in the game, which is, if you take into account, the base roster, the unlockables, my faction, characters, we're way over 300 already just with that. And so also having the ability to have 100 created characters, like I said, is really nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot.
Yeah. No, for sure. Um, WWE introduced the Women's United States and the Women's Intercontinental Championship in recent months. I know
Yeah.
that was very late in your guys' development cycle. Was that something you guys were able to get in last minute, or is that something the fans are just going to have to create and upload through community creations this year?
I appreciate this question, and I knew this question was going to come up. And you were right; you hit the nail on the head. It's one of those things where, by the time that they had introduced both of these titles for the women, the secondary titles, it was late in development. And not only was it the fact that they debuted these, late in our development, it was they had a tournament, right? And so we were waiting the weeks until we could see the titles, get the presentation of everything. And so we do not have them on disc, but I will say We're already having talks internally about seeing what we can do to potentially maybe provide both of these titles and upcoming patches as you know, post
Nice.
launch. So we
That's
hear you
awesome.
guys. Yeah, so we hear you guys, and we are doing everything we can to try to support these titles. And I will just say that it goes beyond just putting the titles in, right? Because we have to consider, how does this impact my GM? How does this impact Universe? Uh, Two modes that are very much built around the concept of acquiring championships, as well as, you know, all of the video assets. When you have a title match, we want to make sure we get the graphics right and all that. So we are doing our best to see if we can potentially support these post launch.
That's awesome. Last year you guys put a limit on interference in tag team matches through the AI, through the match. Like, you could only come in and break up a pinfall so many times before they would just allow the match to end.
Yeah.
Has there been any other tag team AI improvements this year? I know a lot of people are hoping that they can see the computer execute tag team finisher moves, because that really hasn't something that's been done for years. And there's a lot of tag team finishers in WWE right now. So do you know if the AI can perform tag team finishers this year?
Yeah, what I do know is that, because I work with the AI thing, that's part of my, you know, the gameplay, the designers, and the AI, you know, the designers who are responsible for our AI. They've heard all the complaints. They are always working and doing their best to make sure that, you know, players are getting the experience that they want from the game, and this does include the ability for the AI to execute tag finishers. Um, and I do not think that this will be a problem this year, especially because with the showcase, we have a lot of tag teams in our showcase this year with the bloodline and, you know, that family tree. You know, the Wild Samoans, the Islanders, uh, the Head Shrinkers, you know, are all there in that bloodline, and they have to be able to execute their tag finishers, either to complete objectives or whatever. So I think that, yes, I think the team has done a really good job of doing their best to, you know, fill out or fill in these holes that were there in previous titles.
Cool.
And
With
when it comes to AI too, it's like you know, when the game comes out and everybody gets it, they, you know, they play the game, you know, DLCs. The one thing that I really love about our team, I mean, I love my team, like, just for a lot of reasons, but is that we're constantly working, and that does include AI. AI changes are constantly being worked on throughout the life of each title. Uh, so yeah, I'm very confident that what you had described will no longer be a thing that people will get frustrated by.
That's awesome. With the Island being a PS5 Xbox SX exclusive, a lot of people are left questioning what that means for crossplay with
Yeah.
like PC and such. Um, can you elaborate on what this means for created content as far as like community creations? Are people from PC still going to be able to share their creations with PS5 and Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, S, and X users, or is that something that's not going to be available this year due to the island restricting that?
Yeah, so the nuts and bolts about this is that, you know, yes, there are some restrictions this year, due to hardware limitations of, you know, last gen and just the various, you know, rigs that people have with their PCs. You know, the island is not going to be available for those consoles or NPC. And in terms of community creations, it's basically going to be a one-to-one thing where if you are on a PS5, you have an Xbox Series X, you can share your community creations with each other. The same way that if you're playing on PC and you're playing with some of the older gen, with the Generation 8, you'll be able to share that content with each other. So it's basically just generational, is where we have it right now. So if you are playing, damn, what is, man, I'm so in the weeds about all these consoles, but like the last gen consoles will be able to share with each other, and the current generation consoles will be able to share with each other in terms of community creations.
Cool, cool deal. Two more quick things, and I'll get you out of here. I know you're a very busy man. Um, I'm sure we're only just days away from hearing about what you guys are offering in terms of DLC for the game this year.
Woo!
Uh,
Yeah.
are there any hints that you could give us today on terms of what people can expect out of the DLC for 2K25?
I can give you hints, only hints. I'll just start off with, I know, because I talked with our good buddy Al, the DLC will be announced soon. So fans, yourself won't have to wait too much longer to find out what we are offering this year. And secondly, I will say that I am super stoked about this year's DLC. We've got some surprises, I mean, a lot of surprises. Characters that I think, of course, I think if anybody thinks about, they're like, oh, I'm probably, this character, this superstar. But we have some genuine surprises, some shocking characters that I think I was shocked that we were able to do what we're doing. So yeah, I'm excited, and I think the fans will be genuinely very excited about this year's DLC offering. Like I said, I mean, some wrestlers and superstars that I'm sure if he was like, oh my god, I never thought I'd have this person in this game, and it's like, yep, it's a brand new world. We're pushing the envelope. We're trying to move mountains to really kind of make our DLC as exciting and as worthwhile post launch as it possibly can be. You got to
You
keep that
guys,
excitement going. You know what I mean? Like after the
of,
game comes out, it's got to be exciting.
of course. Do you guys have like a rough cutoff date for when you can get somebody in? Because I know you guys managed to get CM Punk in last year, and he debuted back in November Survivor Series. But for someone like Penta, who didn't come in until January, is there like a hard cutoff date? Like, all right, we can't put anybody in past this point.
We have hard cutoffs. I'll keep those to myself. Right now, but that's one of the good things about having DLC and having the ability to add content to the game post launch. There's no bigger fan of Penta than myself. I'm looking at my action figures, and I still don't have one, but I'm gonna get one soon. So I will just say, keep your ears tuned to, at WWE Games and wherever you get your, WWE 2K 25 news. And I think the fan base will be excited about what we are offering this year.
Awesome. I'm going to let you go, Brian. I know you're very busy, but thank you so much for sitting down with me today. WWE 2K25 releases on March 14th on Xbox SX, PS5 and 4, Xbox One, and PC. If you pre-order um the two top editions, the deluxe or the Bloodline edition, you can get it 7 days early on March 7th. So
And if you pre-order, you get the Y6. Don't forget
yes,
about that. You
yeah,
get the
the Wyatt six
Y6
of the pre-order
characters.
bonus.
Yeah,
Very cool. Yeah, you
yeah.
guys just released that entrance last night. It looks really great.
Yeah, doesn't it? Our team, man, our cussing team, they're freaking awesome. They're rock stars.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Brian.
Of course, it's always good to talk to you, Matt.
Yeah,
Thank you.
hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, me too. Me too.